In today's edition to my small yet reasonably formed YouTube channel, I'll take you through this Deadpool versus Wolverine figurine. Okay, technically it is a diorama, but that wouldn't have sounded as good. I'll take you through my thoughts on this amazing STL from Wicked. I'll show you the construction of it and take you through the paint job that I did on it, and generally just ramble on about how much fun I had bringing it to life. Oh, and it's 100% FDM as well, including the faces and the details. And to be honest, at times, after a few misprints and reprint after reprint, FDM did take on a whole new meaning for me. Fucking dumb move. But in reality, actually, it came out amazing, and I'll take you through how I made this 100% FDM print look like it came off a resin printer. So without more delay, let's crack on with some DP action, or as Deadpool might say, let's go. So here we are on Wicked's incredible Patreon group. The Deadpool Wolverine Diorama was their August term, which had these incredible extras, as well as we had Ladypool, we had Back to the Future, we had, you know what, I haven't done the portal, which I forgot about, I need to do. We had Groot and Rocket, and we had different versions of the Deadpool Wolverine with different stands, so you could print them separately and then a little bit smaller. But the value from their Patreon, and I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, I have spoken to them a few times for tips and encouragement, both on Patreon and on their really supportive Patreon-only Facebook group. But if you've not seen Wicked before and you weren't a member of Patreon in August, don't worry, you can head over to their Gumroad, just search for 3D Wicked, and you can purchase everything separately. But you can see that the value of being their Patreon, I think it's £10 a month in the UK, you get all this a month, for instance, as opposed to, you know, the one-off purchase are slightly more expensive. But if you do need to go back and get that one model that you wanted prior to you being a Patreon member, then it's great that they've got them on sale for everybody as well. So nicest guys in the world, highly recommended. Right then, let's get to the model itself. Second time of filming this, the first time the audio was terrible. But now I've got the mic sitting on a bin and I'm kneeling on the knees behind the camera. So yeah, highly technical setup, but needs must. So FDM, let's tackle that for a start. Some outtakes and things I had to try and sort out. That was what it was coming off the printer like when printing at certain angles and orientations. Probably would have been all right. I printed it like that at first, thinking, yeah, I hide all the supports at the bottom. But even though that texture there at the top, that didn't print very well. But I still was always ending up with this sort of texture. So what I ended up doing was sanding down as much as I could, and it's good because it's on the posterior, should we say, out of sight, and then covered it all in resin. I do like using a lot of resin to hide mistakes and imperfections, and it works really well on stuff like this. When it's all painted up, and at sort of viewing distance especially, but even close up, so let me see how close I can get. That's pretty hard to tell. I know the light's sort of catching those layer lines sort of there and the texture, but you'd be hard pressed to think that isn't, especially how FDM ones usually go. I mean, it helps that the Wicked's STL, and I mean, look at the craftsmanship on the whole thing is sublime, really, really sublime. I added the physical battle damage marks because I wanted it to look at like the part where they fight the Deadpool horde and he puts his cowl on for the first time. Hence why I just painted over his arms because he's got his shoulder pads aren't on at this point in the movie. But you can stick them on. I think that's the correct one. No, that's that side. If I wanted to. But I just want to be faithful to that part of the movie because it is the best part. Anyway, on the paint job, I made it a lot easier that at this point in the film, his bright yellow outfit is really dirty. Because that suits my style. I'm not like, I might try it in a later video, but at the moment I struggle with the crisp and clean types of painting because I've got shaky hands, as you could maybe tell. And a massive lack of patience as well. So doing things neat and tidy is quite difficult. So any excuse to make it grimy and hide mistakes and stuff. But dirty, yellow, kind of there's a bit of a wash on it, a bit of speed paint. And then it looked a bit flat. Then I did something that I used to do on tiny scale Warhammer models, which is just edge highlighting on any and every edge I could see. They don't show up so much on the yellow, but what does show up is the darker lines that I put around everything. So the edge shadowing really brings out the detail, and very fun and therapeutic to do actually. So, and then I did try a little bit of sort of manual shading of leather to make it a bit reflective. It's a bit dulled down because what I did afterwards was covered the whole thing in that powder stuff, you know, that makeup powder that you can use to make things look weathered. I can't actually recall what it is. But yeah, so that is Wolverine, held in place by a magnet. Around the back, sorry, I was supposed to tell you about how I turned these nasty bits into this rather lovely posterior. Just, this is what it looks like when it's sanded down and had resin sort of painted over. Again, quite hard pressed to see it, certainly at distance. What I will say is that I was impressed with how the blades came out, and printed incredibly, a bit of sanding, but then painted it all in resin. Again, to get that, really crisp and strong sort of sheen on it. And yeah, paid out pretty nice. Gave it a little bit of a gradient in the metallic spray. Quite obvious spatter if you look closely, but again, it's all in the distance, isn't it? It's all about the whole ensemble. And they were originally really pale and crap, and when I posted it on a 3D Facebook group, somebody said that, yeah, it looks amazing, well done, great work. The arms are terrible though, mate. So yeah, I had to go back and revisit. I do have trouble with flesh tones because I'm slightly colourblind, with red-green colour blindness. So that Arnold Schwarzenegger in the background over there that I'm doing for another video this as soon as I can, that's one heck of a big area to do good skin tones on. So yeah, fingers crossed on that one. So Deadpool is actually just held on by just pure friction. So this is where I'm going to definitely crash into Wolverine's. There's an outtake on the first take that I did where I accidentally had Wolverine on the floor like that, and then showed this round, put it down, and smashed all his claws on top of his claws. So I'll actually let's just see that bit. Lots of gaps. We'll go into that at some point. I'll let you know. Oh dear! That's gonna need fixing. Just a quick interruption to ask, if you've got any tips on what you've seen so far, then please leave them in the comments, because I know I'll definitely find them of use, and I'm sure other people will do as well. So if you are truly wise and outrageously beautiful, like I'm sure you all are, then do what the truly wise and outrageously beautiful people do, and caress that lustful looking like button, and gently seduce the succulent subscribe one too while you're there. Okay, so that was a classic Crack Fox mistake, live and in effect, but shame that I had to ditch most of the footage because of the sound. Anyway, Deadpool, a lot simpler to paint, pretty much just two colours really. But again, you've got to try and bring it to life. This is, again, at the same scene as the Deadpool fight, so he's pretty grotty. There's a lot of dark sort of staining around him. Tried to match it as much to the film as I could without just doing my head in too much and going too anal with it. Speaking of which, again on the back, sanded off all the crap stuff. You can see where mainly it is. So for instance, this sort of bit here, you can see a bit of the patterned texture. And then this bit here where it's been sanded and just had resin on it. But again, you can barely tell. Some of the sharper details, like say across here, the overhangs and such, had to get a craft knife to tidy those up. You can see around the, what would you call the sort of seams, I would say. There's quite bobbly, but again, it's all about the whole thing taken as one. Edge highlighting, again, really brought it to life. Before then, it was just a bit flat, not really popping. But if you see like on the edge of the knee pad, all these creases. So it's in edge shadowing, underhang sort of shadowing, and edge highlights, just a little bit of orange. Looks especially good on the crotch. I'm not actually sure if this was done on the 1.2. This might have been done on the 1.4. You can just about see at the top when the light catches it, the layer lines. But yeah, sanded and covered in resin. I did cover most of it in resin, to be honest, and that really got rid of so much stuff. You just got to make sure that it's all properly cured, and then after that, you give everything a good wash in alcohol to get rid of the residue, else you'll end up with wet spots under the paint all the time. Yeah, battle damage is actual physical damage with edge highlighting just to make it pop. The katana, that was difficult to print on FDM, just because it's, I'll show you, let me pop that in there. So yeah, you can see that sort of friction just holds that pretty well. Yeah, the katana, when it's done as one piece, would either have supports that would just ruin the edges if it was done like that, with the supports coming from below. Tried it like that, so you would, this will be nice and flat, but got nasty textures on the top and this at the bottom, which actually you would more likely to see. So ended up doing, and I haven't got the other half here, but splitting it into two and printing both flat. Sandwiching them, had to retake that, sorry, sandwiching them together. I can't find the other half, but you get the idea. Right, onto the fun stuff. So I because of the slog and the challenge, I left the fun bits, like, oh shit. Okay, so we got both recordings of this, and I've made an absolute cock up on both. It's going to be easy to fix, but this is what Crackfox Studios is like on a daily basis. Anyway, what I was saying was I left these till last because I knew that I was just wanting to get through everything else, and these were my reward. Headpool, great fun to paint. I did try a little bit of leather highlights. I don't know if you can see in this light, but the same was done on the light grey over the black, but I think the actual sheen of it from the lights is just making it hard. I'm quite proud of the eye though. Quite happy with that. But yeah, that was great fun. That printed, I think I just printed just like that. Ironically, or not ironically, actually to make the point, the way I printed this was take this off the STL and print that like that. And well, I suppose that's been used, that came out well, it's a good example. This, you can probably see the join there actually, was printed in two halves, that way up and that way up. And also his head, which is a separate piece anyway, I cut it straight down the middle. So so that would print up, and that part of the head and the neck would print up, just to get, I just couldn't find a orientation where supports weren't gonna absolutely ruin some part of this very delicate detail. Just get that quite close, I think. I went for the ones with you've got two heads of this, the one with the glasses and without the glasses. I can't remember why I went the one with the glasses, maybe I just thought it was much cooler. So the stand, this is heavy actually. I'm just gonna move down here a little bit. The sound might change a little bit because I'm slightly closer to the mic. The 20th Century Fox is obviously on the stand a big bit. Tried to match it to the film in terms of, it's not the bright yellowy, orangey colour. It's really kind of mangled and nasty and mustardy in the film. But also, I figured that if this was impacted in the sand for quite a while, that some of the sand would have been blown up onto it, so the sort of blend in the colour there, rather than between the sandstone or whatever the stone that is, and the logo itself, just to make it feel more embedded, like it's been there for quite a long time. The TVA helmet there, I did my own little cuts and scrapes because he's just been destroyed by Deadpool at the start of the film. And this bit I had to cut up as an STL because this was all one piece, and I wanted to print that bit horizontal, which means this bit and these lines here wouldn't be vertical. So I had to take that off and print that in a couple of pieces. I think that it's very complicated to do this in FDM, so you probably are advised to make some adjustments rather than, I had to print, this is in 6 sections, and I think I printed at least 4 of the sections 2 or 3 times because I just couldn't get the orientations right. But even still, you can see the gaps. So one gap comes up through here and into these rocks, but again, filled with resin to just take, I think it was resin and green stuff. Yeah, just to really hide it. And it goes together well. There's no obvious gaps or anything when you see it. Bit of loss of detail around the bottom areas, which is to compared to what it would be in resin. But again, it's all about the big effect overall. You know, nobody's really going to go at it with a magnifying glass, although that's exactly what we're doing in a minute. And then this guy was a challenge because the supports, when this is printed as all one unit, because this is stuck down in the STL, this is all part of this bit of smoke, this rock, the floor, and this whole part here. But supports that would come up through here to support the printing of the sternum. This decayed clothing I've added myself, just to make it look like he looks at the start of the film when just before the TVA turn up. This branch that obviously impales him in Logan, that's present in his in Deadpool Wolverine at the beginning, just before the TVA arrived. So I wanted it on my version, so I just got that from online for free, I think, and just printed that, painted it, bosh. But anyway, printed it. I went to go to the STL and print just the rib cage, just part of the spine, and just the head on its own. And I got one of the failed prints, which is mainly the rib cage that had failed, and some of the smaller bits off the spine. And I kept the spine part because I could salvage it. Cut all the rib bits off, cut the head out of here, and then when I printed this right and this right all separately at the right orientation that worked, I just stuck it all down and blended it in with, you know, putty and resin and that kind of thing, and just made my life much easier. And I don't think you can really see that that's, you know, not embedded in there like it is on the actual thing. So there we go. Again, with painting on that's just metallic airbrush paints at first, quite a bright silver, then just like mottling and dirtying up to give it, because, you know, it's been in the ground rotting for however long. Same with the skin, make it nice and dirty. I prefer, like I say, the realistic grimy look, because I think it's more fun, kind of arguably more realistic, and hides a lot of imperfections. So yeah, there we go. That is it. I'll go off now and I will repair Headpool. I can't believe I broke that on camera as well. Classic. That's what you get with Crack Fox Studios, I guess. Okay, so that's about it from me. So, Deadpool, what do you think I should do next?
Oh.
Well, if you put it like that, I'll catch you next time.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I